Call to the booth. The injury bug is making its way to Denver. Which quarterback is going to be here? Broncos got to shake back this week. Pivotal week for them Broncos. Paul, drop that beat.
Call to the booth, Harrison Sanford, Aqib Talib. Broncos going into this week at 3-1 after their loss to the Baltimore Ravens at home, their first loss of the season, but can get right back on the horse with a win in Pittsburgh. Aqib, before we even talk about that and the fantasy impact of some injuries that we saw for the team as well, there's one thing that perturbed a lot of Broncos fans, and I wanted to get your opinion on it. The game was pretty much over. Lamar Jackson runs the ball when he could have kneeled it. It extended the Baltimore Ravens streak of games over 100 rushing yards to 42. Coach Vic Fangio, not too happy about it. We can't play the audio because it's filled with some curses. What were your thoughts on it?
Well, it's football, man. I feel like if I'm the coach of the football team, I could do whatever I want to do with my football team, right? Just like I feel like Harbaugh made a good point too. You were still trying to score a touchdown at the end of the game with 10 seconds left, right? So what's the difference between you trying to score a touchdown and me trying to get 4 yards at the end of the game? That none of it matters, right? If you feel like, all right, the game over, I lost, start taking knees then. And I say, all right, they tap out. It's over with. So it go both ways, man. It's whatever floats your boat. If that record important to you, that's like me getting that interception, boom. And I got 12 and I need one more touchdown, but we already won this game. I'm going to just slide. I'm not worried about Fangio feelings. I'm worried about the name on the back of my jersey, my family, my team. I'm going to score. It's history. The Ravens did the right thing. If it was flipped around, Fangio would have did the same thing.
Hey, it hurts when you're on the losing side of something like that.
Yeah, dude, it hurt.
You made some valid.
You be in your feelings about it. You know what I'm saying? You be in your feelings about it, but he'll get over it, man. He know that's football.
Indeed, and they have a chance to get over it when they go to the Pittsburgh Steelers this week. We'll talk about that, but we have to review what happened here in this game. We're going to save the second half because obviously Teddy Bridgewater got that concussion. But in the first half, Javonte Williams got them started with a nice run, eventually went up 7-0. But then things went sideways after that. They gave us some big catches to Mark Andrews, who we talked about was an important matchup for them. Then Hollywood Brown took the top off on a touchdown catch. We talked about him as well. And then the special teams also hurt them right before the end of the half, letting the Baltimore Ravens get in field goal position. All of a sudden, 17-7 because of some miscues. Give me your breakdown of what you saw before the Teddy Bridgewater injury.
It never really got in the groove, man. That's a hard offense to play against. So that might have been the Broncos' first time seeing that offense in a while, some years, since Lamar been there, right? So that's their first time seeing it, and it's hard. You got to stop the run. Them linebackers start coming up. Then Andrews and them running free behind it through that zone. Hollywood running free. So I think next time they'll be a lot better against it. But that's a tough offense to play against the first time you see it.
Yeah, for sure. And then also, one thing I learned about you, Aqib, over the course of this weekend, you don't give out participation trophies. Ain't no Broncos of the week, huh?
No Broncos of the week this week, man. We got to win to get those trophies, man. Come on now.
Indeed. A shout out to Caden Stearns, though, who did get 2 sacks and 1 pass deflection. Some would have thought he could have been a candidate, but to Aqib's point, we don't do participation trophies on the good game, but that's about it.
Good game,
all right, let's look at the state. Let's talk about the state of the Broncos real quick. A lot of things emerge. Obviously, the Teddy Bridgewater injury, a bunch of injuries in general, down 8 players, and some poor offensive line play as well. What really stuck out to you outside of the game specific, some long-term themes that you're seeing that you could be worried about?
Well, you definitely see that O-line taking a hit. They might get some of the guys back. Rising, I think he'll come back this week, maybe. But Reisner, he'll maybe come back this week. But just those injuries, man, you see those injuries start to wear on you. And they ain't look too comfortable this week, man. That Baltimore came out was hidden. Now, they came out and was hidden. Maybe that got you a little uncomfortable. I don't really know what it was, but the Ravens definitely had the energy all game. They came out with the energy, with the upper hand, and they kept that momentum throughout the whole game.
Regardless of who the quarterback is, they're definitely going to need protection. This past week, Garrett Bowles gave up another sack. That's his 3rd straight over the past 3 weeks, and as an all-pro left tackle. I know that's something definitely he would like to change for the Broncos. And hopefully they can change that in Pittsburgh. When we come back with Call to the Booth, how do they stop TJ Watt? Who's in that quarterback? We break it all down with a scouting report from Aqib Talib. We'll be right back. We got to focus in on Thursday since you'll be doing the game with Amazon Prime. For anybody who's watching or listening, can you explain exactly what you'll be doing with that broadcast? And then we're going to get to our A-plus matchup of DK Metcalf and Jalen Ramsey.
So we not necessarily doing like the play-by-play, the, you know what I'm saying, the analyst, the serious way like we do on Fox. We kind of, have a drink, eat some popcorn, and, put the cameras on us and just watch us analyze the game in that kind of setting, right? So it's going to be fun. We're going to keep it light. But we going to, I'm lead, right? So I got to talk a little football. So we going to have it fun, man. I'm glad Amazon let me be a part of that.
Yeah, no, it should be a lot of fun. And I think our friend of the show, Chris Long, is also joining you as well as a part of that broadcast as well. So excited to see both of y'all get to work and do what you guys do. Speaking of doing what you guys do, it's breaking down matchups between top wide receivers and top defensive backs. A-plus matchups. Aqib, what's the rule?
You gotta follow, baby.
And we're hoping that Jalen Ramsey follows DK Metcalf. We know Jalen Ramsey's been using the star position so far this year, moving all the way around. How do you anticipate that matchup between him and DK Metcalf?
See, I'm getting a better feel for how they're using Jalen. So early downs or early passing situations, sometimes he might be at that star, but real third down, crucial, gotta have it situations, he on your number one guy, man. So he going to get a lot of DK Metcalf. He saw a lot of Hop last week, Evans the week before. So he's still following. Just not completely all game where he get bored. You know what I'm saying? They bring him in the slot, let him get active a little bit, get involved in these runs and these screens. But in got to have it situations, red zone, third down, he definitely following. So DK and Jalen definitely going to go head-to-head on Thursday night.
Big-time NFC West matchup. The Seahawks got their win against the San Francisco 49ers, who were without Jimmy Garoppolo for that second half. Los Angeles Rams coming off an embarrassing loss to the Arizona Cardinals, who they just could not contain the animal that is Kyler Murray. So as we look at this matchup now in this tough NFC West, Aqib, if you could point out three factors or three things that you're specifically watching for in this game.
Well, I'm definitely going to watch both quarterbacks, man. Which quarterback is going to be extra special? They both special. Which one going to be extra special and do something crazy, create some extra time, hit a guy downfield? That's going to change the game. Number two, definitely watching that DK and Jalen Ramsey matchup. It's going to be on the offense left, defense right. DK ain't going nowhere else. You know where to find him at. Definitely watching that. And number three, you can't watch the Rams without just watching Aaron Donald tear shit up, man. So I'm always watching AD, baby.
There you go. One would imagine that Russell Wilson's going to have to create some extra time and be mobile on his feet if Aaron Donald has an impact on the game, which he usually does. Back with more Call to the Booth. Harrison Sanford, Aqib Talib, Teddy Bridgewater, Drew Lock. The decision was made in the preseason, but obviously injuries happen. In this case, a concussion. We don't know who the quarterback is as of yet for Sunday's game in Pittsburgh. Aqib, give me your mindset if you were on the Broncos or if you're just a Bronco fan of how they should approach this game, not knowing who the quarterback might not necessarily be.
Well, hopefully you get Teddy. You know what I'm saying? It's a concussion, man. We've seen guys shake back off a concussion in 7 days. So plan A is to let Teddy practice on a Friday or let him do the walkthrough on a Saturday. If he good, let Teddy spin, right? If you got to go with Lock, then you got to go with Lock, right? But in the game, man, Lock, he just didn't look comfortable. He didn't look comfortable in the pocket, man. He wasn't accurate with the football. I think he had like 100 yards, but he got 60 yards on that last drive of the game where they was trying to score, and there wasn't no reason to score, right? So he got like 60 yards on that drive. You take that away, he came in through for like 40 yards or something like that. So if you got to go with him, man, you better have a run game going. Either way, you got to have a run game going, man. But I think Teddy will be all right, man. I've seen guys shake back fast off concussions.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen guys who look like they pretty much got a concussion come back in the same game, even though it was a concussion.
Right.
So it looks like we would assume that he would be fine. One thing that hasn't been fine is that Pittsburgh Steelers offense, they've really been underwhelming. Big Ben, frankly, has been underwhelming. But they still got some names back there. They still got a dynamic running back, too. From the defensive side of the ball, how do you stop these Steelers or how do you keep them to at the level where they're playing right now, which is pretty much below average.
Man, you just got to keep stopping that run. That's the worst thing Pittsburgh is doing right now is not running the football, right? So they went out and got Najee Harris to run the football. That O-line is super young, so that's part of the reason they not running the football. But if I'm on defense, man, stack that box. Big Ben, he not throwing deep for real. Stack that box, man. Play some tight coverage. Put some heat on him. You know how we do, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to always say blitz him in his face. Strap up. You got the guys to strap up. I think Darby supposed to return this week, man. So you got the guys. I think Surtain should be straight. Darby returning. You got the guys to strap up, man. So put some pressure on him. Stop that run. Be all right.
Yeah, that offensive line has been underwhelming. And speaking of offensive lines that's been underwhelming, we'll have to see what they're going to do against T.J. Watt. It's going to be a lot of fun. You got Von Miller on one side, T.J. Watt on the other side. As you look at what the Broncos have been able to do so far this season and now what they're going to have to do against T.J. Watt, can you break down that matchup for me a little bit? Again, Teddy Bridgewater, Drew Lock, they're going to need time to operate, and T.J. Watt is somebody who could disrupt your whole offense.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, when you go against guys like T.J. Watt and Von Miller, you just put it in your protection to have a guy come chip him, touch him, push him. You never let him go one-on-one. We slide your way, so that means the tackle got him outside. If he go inside, the guard got him. So you always just put two guys on him, man. So you make the guy on the other side get 3-4 sacks and make him win the game. But you don't let T.J. Watt do nothing, man. You chip him, send that running back, send that tight end, go his way.
It would seem that that Noah Fant would be one of those guys who chipped in real quick. Is that one of the matchups that you're focusing in on in terms of performance, in terms of how Noah Fant could play well potentially against his secondary, or are you seeing a day where he has to kind of do a lot more chipping, a lot more blocking?
Well, he still can get out in his routes. He still can have a day against his secondary, but he just chip him and then go. You know what I'm saying? You chip him and then go. Sometimes that creates opening lanes for you. Guys think you blocking, they look somewhere else. You come free, right? So he's going to be involved in stopping T.J. Watt, but he's definitely still going to be involved in his pass game.
Okay, for sure. And then before we get out of here, Pittsburgh is a 1-point favorite at home, Denver on the road. That might change depending on when the quarterback gets named. Key, give me your game pick for week 5.
If it's Teddy, I'm riding with the Broncos. If it's Drew Lock, I'm riding with the Steelers. Simple as that.
Speaking of tough matchups, it's a great week to hold position in that AFC West. The Raiders hosting the Bears after taking that loss to the Chargers on Monday Night Football. The Chargers hosting the Browns, who just got a win in Minnesota. And the Chiefs hosting the Bills on Sunday Night Football. A hectic week in that AFC West. When we come back next week, we'll break down all the action and see where the Denver Broncos stand. That's Aqib Talib. I'm Harrison Sanford. This is Called to Booth right here on Altitude TV. See you next time.